Now, October 10th marks World Mental Health Day, a pivotal observance that shines a spotlight on the vital importance of mental health and wellness worldwide. Established by the World Federation for Mental Health in 1992, this day serves as a clarion call to individuals, communities, and governments to prioritize mental health, challenge stigma, and ensure equitable access to care. The statistics surrounding mental health are staggering. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, more than 1 billion people globally suffer from mental disorders, with anxiety and depression being the most prevalent conditions. Mental health issues affect individuals from all walks of life, regardless of age, socioeconomic status, or cultural background. According to experts, the consequences of neglecting mental health can be devastating, leading to impaired relationships, decreased productivity, and increased risk of suicide. Temitope Omolehinwa is a mental health professional and founder at Hey Foundation Africa. She joins us now to discuss the World Mental Health Day. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Now, mental health has been a buzzword in recent times, especially amongst the, Gen Z. And yes, we've heard so many people talking about how some situations affect their mental health. In fact, statistics shows that 1 in 3 18 to 24-year-olds now report symptoms indicating they have experienced a common mental health problem like anxiety or depression. Can you tell us what exactly mental health connotes and how important it is?
So basically, mental health refers to your state of mind. So your physical, your psychological, your emotional well-being. And just as what does that say to you? It means that the way we go about your daily life. So like your social well-being, your psychological well-being, your emotional well-being. Why is that important, right? The way you take care about your physical health is the same way you should care about your mental health. It sort of affects every single thing that you do. So waking up in the morning, how do you feel? When you step out, when you see your family, when you come to work, how does it make you feel? What is your state of mind? How are you able to cope with the stresses of life? Because yes, there's no way that you live in this life there will not be stresses, but how are you able to cope with those stresses that life throws at you?
All right, Temitope. Now, the consumption of stimulants to attain a level of satisfaction, can the motive be influenced by mental health issues here?
Well, so if on some level, yes, I would say yes. And then that is where we bring about things about, okay, so how far is this going? Like, so addiction, right? And then there's a thin line between, consuming these things and then saying, okay, I've got to a point where it's now an addiction, right? And I'm doing this just so I can feel better. First things first, if you are diagnosed with a mental health illness, then those medications that will be prescribed by what? A mental health professional, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. The aim is not for you to take these medications in a social context so that you can get by. It is for you to take those medications so that you can feel better and get back to being able to face life up and bright. Yes.
All right, can I come in here as well?
Yes.
What about the issue of peer pressure when it comes to the taking of stimulants? Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be a stressful condition, but you could have that scenario playing out as well. So what are your thoughts?
So with the issue of peer pressure playing a role, yes, it does play a role. At the end of the day, so there's self-awareness, right? For example, you and I know
like
that...
Experimenting,
yes, to say, oh, okay, my friend tells me that, oh, I took this drug and it made me feel better. So for example, I might open up to you to say that I've been feeling depressed, and you told me, oh, I'm seeing a psychiatrist and she gave me this medication. It is your responsibility as the person with the drug who has been diagnosed, right? To say, I've given you this medication as a psychologist. It is your responsibility to be responsible with that medication. You are not going out handing over the drugs to say, you're not a pharmacist.
Yeah.
You're not going around handing over the drugs to say, oh yeah, take this, it'll make you feel better. Because if you do that, it's just a cycle that goes on and on and on and on. And yes, so definitely, yes, peer pressure definitely has a role to play in that.
Now, this year's theme has been tagged mental health at work.
Yes.
And, there are so many workplace stressors that could lead to mental health issues. But I'd just like you to highlight some of the telltale signs of someone who is, undergoing mental health stressors at work?
Yeah. So for example, one will be you have a colleague, right, who's always bubbly, and all of a sudden this colleague, I like to make it as practical as possible. So you have a colleague who's always bubbly, and all of a sudden this person is just, down for a long period of time. Now, the opposite of that is you have a colleague who is always just really quiet, and all of a sudden this person is hyperactive, going up and down.
So it works both ways.
It works both ways, so you pay attention to that. So that's when we say low mood, changes the appetites. So now, for example, this is the job you do, you love it. Yeah. And all of a sudden, someone comes to say, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I'm tired. Like, it keeps making emphasis to things about not being interested in things that you usually enjoy. For example, you might have a routine where after work, you go out, you guys go sit down, have a drink, go eat. All of a sudden, this person just doesn't want to do that. He or she comes to work and sits down and is just on his own. That's a sign to pay attention to. Because sometimes people think that these signs are so far off. Like, you can't really see them. But it's every day. It just means that you need to pay attention to the people around you. If you pay attention, you would actually see that something is off here. Yeah.
All right, Temitope, we've had a glimpse of the statistics globally.
Yeah.
But what's the prevalence like, mental health issues, in Nigeria currently?
So currently in Nigeria, it states that over 100,000 people.
Wow.
Yes. Now, and if you think about it, I don't think it's not too foreign. It shouldn't be a foreign concept because, currently everything is going on in our economy. People are sad. And, when people talk about mental health illnesses, there are mental health issues that go on to become mental health illnesses.
Yep.
So the everyday stressors, lack of low income, no money, stress, even as little as transportation, traffic, all of those things add up to build up mental health issues.
Apparently, there is a big issue on our hands when it comes to mental health,
yes.
Because another statistics report here that 1 in every 4 people
yes.
reported one or more types of mental illness. And earlier I was talking about that statistic showing that, the Gen Zs between 18 and 24 years reported more cases. Why is that? And also looking at the fact that in a country of over 200 million people, there are fewer than 150 psychiatrists. And we keep talking about getting help. It looks like we're not paying as much attention as we should.
So why is it that? So when we say 1 in 4 people have these issues, it also means that you and I we all have a role to play, right? You and I need to know how to have a conversation that can help someone. Now, you spoke about why are there very little psychiatrists and psychologists. There's actually help available. 2024, there are so many organizations currently that offer telemedicine, so you don't even need to go physically to a psychologist. You can access just through an app on your phone. There are organizations that offer free mental health first aid. There are so many. Now, maybe a reason why there are not a lot of psychologists because typically, there's a stigma around mental health issues in this part of the world. And so you would have someone who studies psychology in their university that will end up working as a teller in the bank, right? Because the fear is that, not a lot of people might, and I'll probably not have a profession, I will not be able to get a job, but I want to just encourage people who are doing that. There are a lot of people. Mental health has gone far. It has advanced. The stigma is sort of slowly eradicating. We are not where we need to be. But if there are people who are studying psychology and are really passionate about helping people, please do go ahead. There are a lot of organizations coming up now that you will definitely get a job, and then we need all hands on board.
So the prevalence amongst the Gen Zs, you've not talked about that. 1 in 3 18 to 24-year-olds report mental health issues.
Yes, I know people tend to stereotype them and make them seem, Gen Zs always have mental health issues. No, I do think that more than ever, they're in a time where they are facing life as is, right? And they are they are able to just speak up. So the fact that they are reporting that is because this is a generation of people who are willing to speak up and say, I'm not afraid to say, yes, I'm dealing with this, and yes, I have these issues. Whereas maybe go up to the millennials, the baby boomers, they would keep it in and be like, okay, you know what, I'm strong, I can do this. So we're not going to have those, those statistics that you would normally have. Is because these people are able to speak up. They are not afraid. Stigma is not really something that is probably keeping them down. They talk about it, and that is why it looks as though that statistic is really high for them. But guess what? I believe that among the millennials, the baby boomers, if people would actually go up and speak up, we would have almost nearly the same statistic. Yeah.
It's unfortunate that the young ones are even getting more involved with regards to mental issues. Temitope Omolehinwa, mental health professional, founder, Hey Foundation, yes. Nigeria, Africa rather. I'd like to thank you for joining us on the show. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.